You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, I'm not sure there's a bigger mess in sports going on right now than the coaching search, or one could even say lack thereof, for the Cleveland Browns and their new head coach. Wow. So as we stand right now, the candidates for the Cleveland Browns job are, when you look around the league and you're like, okay, the Raiders just interviewed Davis Webb and the Bills are interviewing all kinds of folks, and I probably got a Bills video coming on their coaching search. But you look at the names there and you're like, okay, I mean, I can see some of these names. Nate Schaalhaase also interviewed with the Bills after his lengthy marathon-like interview with the Browns yesterday, in which somehow, some way, a deal did not get done there, and it's starting to look like this job is down to, dare I say, it's down to Todd Monken and Jim Schwartz. Yeah, those two names just came out of my mouth like that. And ironically enough, I actually think Jim Schwartz might end up being the best guy for the job. I know one thing, and we got some things from Cleveland media because they put a couple of polls up, and my goodness, to say that Cleveland Browns fans have rejected Todd Monken would be the understatement of the century. Now, I put up on my Twitter this morning, if I'm the Browns, I'm starting over. I'm starting this coaching search over. And if I'm Jimmy Haslam, I'm letting it be known to the agents, I'm willing to overpay for good candidates. Well, Rose, why would you have to overpay? Because it's Cleveland. I mean, it just is what it is. The same reason why all these teams came after Kevin Stefanski and he was hired, he was the second coach off the board, they all viewed the way that and look, it wasn't just the Giants. You got to remember the Ravens were in on Kevin, the Giants, Falcons, Titans, and the Raiders were going to interview Kevin too. So basically most of the openings we're going to interview. Stefanski got hired, second guy off the board to the Falcons. And it was in large part because of how things are viewed involving the Browns ownership and the state of the franchise. I said, when is Jimmy Haslam getting involved in this search? Because Andrew Berry has been a massive failure here. Well, it sounds like this is Tony Grossi on the Rizzo show. Actually, I think this would have been RBS, I think, the really big show on ESPN Cleveland, talking about Haslam and Berry this morning.
Lombardi and Banner. So they hire Patton, and Haslam was so disgusted with what he saw that he fired them both after he hired the coach. And remember, he promoted Ray Farmer. And what good did that do? Yeah. But it feels like that, like he doesn't trust the man he put in charge of the search.
And this is why I said, when you fire Stefanski, you fire Andrew Berry. Jimmy Haslam may not trust Andrew Berry. So, this was per Adam Schefter just a little while ago. While Nate Schaalhaase and Jim Schwartz have been the primary focuses of the Browns head coaching search, Todd Monken is a name that's still square in the mix as well. The team has closely tracked him this entire search. And what makes me think there is actual fire around Todd Monken, he has not taken that Giants OC job yet. And some are doing the whole, well, maybe Jim Schwartz and Todd Monken's going to be the OC. He's not going to do that when he can go work under John Harbaugh and coach Jackson Dart and Cam Scatteraboo and Malik Neighbors. He's not taking this Browns job in a lateral move over the Giants organization and John Harbaugh, his buddy. He's not doing that. So he's in on the head coaching situation. He's very much in. So right here, 92.3 The Fan, and they're talking about Jim Schwartz.
I do believe that a lot of these guys would be willing to work with Jim Schwartz. They don't want to be forced to work with Jim Schwartz. They want to know that they have their power.
Okay. I'm just going to stop it right there. That was Ken Carman's show. What did that mean? Well, it's coming out that Grant Udinski backed out because he didn't want Jim Schwartz forced on him. And a lot of these coaching candidates may have backed out because they didn't want Jim Schwartz. Or they wanted the option to hire somebody else besides Jim Schwartz, and Cleveland wouldn't agree to it. I would hate to think that you lost out on all of these potential candidates out there because you wasn't willing to budge on one thing. Because if you want Jim Schwartz that bad, name him the head coach. But don't chase off good candidates because you're not willing to be more flexible. Mary Kay Cabot. Browns working through head coaching decision today, but everyone is still in it. Jim Schwartz, Todd Monken, Nate Schaalhaase, and Anthony Lynn. I mean, wow, that would be the upset of the century. So, Todd Monken, Tony Grossi.
Originally, I thought Monken's candidacy was tied to Schwartz, that Schwartz would, feel more comfortable serving as his defensive coordinator because he knew Monken and same age and all that. But now I'm wondering, boy, if you're Schwartz and you've been passed over, not only they considered two young up-and-comers ahead of you, but they selected a guy with this less experience in the NFL than you in your age bracket. Would you be okay with that? I mean, that could be the final twist in this, is that Schwartz says, sorry, I'm done.
What if everybody backs out? Except Anthony Lynn. You could, in theory, end up backing into Anthony Lynn in all this because everybody gets fed up and says to hell with it. Browns fans, we fired Stefanski. Let's go get Harbaugh, McDaniel, Udinski, Schaalhaase. We have so many options. Jimmy Haslam. The best I can do is Todd Monken. So, the Really Big Show put up a poll. Let's just refresh the poll. Let's refresh it. Basically, 1,200 votes. 85.5% said, nah, we don't want Todd Monken as their head coach. Jim Schwartz, 28.7% hate it. 21.5% love it. And 50%, let's just call it 50%, say, I guess I'll take it. By the way, I did run across this and wanted to put it up for people on Todd Monken. 3 years as a Ravens OC, 10,655 passing yards, 8,512 rushing yards, 91 passing touchdowns, 70 rushing touchdowns, and 28 points a game. And of course, we all know about his success with Georgia as their offensive coordinator. This turned into a mess. Again, I just told you, I would literally back off all these guys and I'd start over. You've got the Rooney Rule out of the way. And I'd put the word out to all the agents, I'm willing to pay $2 million a year more than anybody else, 5-year contract. And I'd start having them in. Davis Webb. If I could get and hire Clint Kubiak, that would be the guy I want. And the Raiders, they want him bad. If I'm Jimmy, I'm like, nah, I'll pay him $5 million more a year than the Raiders will. because your franchise is a wreck. Davis Webb, I'd pay him more money. I don't know that I'd go $5 million more, but a couple of million more a year, yeah. $10 million over the life of the contract, hell yeah, these are billionaires. Who gives a shit? But I would start over. Clint Kubiak, Davis Mills, Brian Daboll, all these guys would start coming in for interview. Sean McDermott, oh, he'll likely set out a year. I'd be like, nah, I'll pay you $5 million more a year. $25 million more over the life of a 5-year contract. Come in here, change the culture, stabilize my franchise, do exactly what you did in Buffalo. Your first year with Tyrod Taylor, go to the playoffs. Not literally with Tyrod Taylor, but you get my point. I'd start over. I mean, honestly, why not? I mean, that would drive everybody crazy, but you've driven away all these candidates because you tried to put all these stipulations on them, combined with the fact that you had this ridiculous essay, homework, interview process, which made your franchise look like a bigger joke. Wow. What a mess. Well, Browns fans, you got a chance to have Todd Monken at the end of the day. By the way, it kind of sounds like this is getting named today. If I'm having to put money on it, I would say Jim Schwartz. And honestly, I'm not a Browns fan, but I don't hate that. I don't hate it. I would still start the search over, but I don't hate it. You're an NFL franchise. Don't name a guy just to name him. That's a disastrously dysfunctional way to do business. That's why you stay with the Jets and the Cardinals and all these other franchises that look for a new coach every 3 years like clockwork. It still comes down to ownership. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.